If you're over 60, this might be one of the most important things you watch this year. Picture this. It's 7 a.m. and you swing your legs out of bed, only to feel that familiar stiffness in your knees and back. Your energy is low, your joints ache, and brain fog has become a morning companion. You might think, well, I guess this is just old age, but what if those fatigue, aches, and brain fog are actually symptoms of something you can change? What if your body is quietly on fire inside, and that hidden fire is making you feel old before your time? Scientists actually have a name for this silent internal fire: inflammaging. It's a chronic, low-level inflammation that builds up in your body as you get older, and it's now believed to drive many diseases we associate with aging, from dementia to heart disease. In fact, a groundbreaking study found that higher inflammation in older adults is linked with feeling biologically older, meaning it's not just in your head. Inflammation speeds up aging. It makes your immune system act older and weaker, and it wears down your organs faster. That daily fatigue and stiffness most seniors blame on age, researchers say much of it comes from this hidden inflammation. Here's the scary part. You can have this chronic inflammation for years without obvious symptoms. One expert calls it a grumbling level of inflammation, not as intense as when you have an infection or injury, but always simmering in the background for decades. Over time, this silent inflammation erodes your vitality. It's like a fire smoldering inside your cells, slowly damaging tissues and stealing your youthful energy. No wonder you might feel 70 at 60 or 80 at 70. But now for the good news, this is not inevitable. It's not just aging that you have to accept. You can fight back and even reverse this process. Cutting-edge research from 2025 shows that even in your 70s, it's not too late to reverse immune aging caused by inflammation. In other words, you can douse that internal fire and get back much of the energy, strength, and mental sharpness you thought was gone forever. One small lifestyle change, done consistently, can make a measurable difference. In a moment, we'll reveal exactly what that change is. Shockingly, some seniors have already done it. Researchers have found older adults in their 70s who effectively have the inflammation levels of 20-year-olds. How? They maintained certain daily habits that kept inflammation low. For example, a recent study of adults over 60 in England found something astonishing. Those who got around 10,000 steps a day showed no signs of inflammaging at all. Their markers of chronic inflammation were virtually zero. Meanwhile, their peers who barely moved under 3,000 steps a day had sky-high inflammation. Even doing moderate activity, around 5,000, 7,000 steps, cut their inflammation in half. Imagine that, a simple daily habit making your immune system behave 20 years younger. Let me introduce you to Carol, a 68-year-old grandmother from Florida. Carol used to wake up every day with aching joints and overwhelming fatigue. By afternoon, she felt old. She had essentially given up on ever feeling good again. Then, after a doctor's visit where her inflammation marker, CRP, came back very high, she decided to try a different approach instead of just more pain pills. She adopted one simple daily routine, which we're about to share with you. 8 weeks later, Carol's knee pain was almost gone. She was walking upstairs without getting winded, and her doctor was stunned to see her CRP level had dropped to that of an average 45-year-old. Carol says, "I feel like I got 20 years back. I have energy to play with my grandkids again." Emotional words from someone who thought her best days were behind her. Carol's story is just one example, and you might be thinking, what did she do, and can I really do this too? The answer is yes, you can do it, and it's simpler than you think. In this video, we're going to break down 5 daily habits that fight inflammaging and can make you feel years younger. Each habit is backed by science, including research from top universities and medical journals, and by real-life success stories. These are practical steps you can start right now, at home, without expensive programs or medications. Stick with me through each one, especially habit done 1, which is the most powerful of all. It's something most doctors wish their patients would do. By the end, you'll have a blueprint to reverse inflammation and rekindle that youthful spring in your step. Before we dive into these life-changing tips, let me ask you something. Tell me in the comments, how old are you, and what's one daily activity that inflammation or aging has made harder for you lately? Is it going upstairs, playing with your kids or grandkids, or just getting out of bed without a... I read every comment I can, and respond to many. Your stories help others realize they're not alone, and it is possible to improve. So drop a comment below with your age and the one thing you wish you could do more easily. Alright, without any further ado, let's get into the 5 daily habits that can extinguish inflammation and have you feeling like you're 20 years younger. 5. Hydrate. First thing, flood your body to douse inflammation. It might surprise you, but the simplest daily habit to start with is drinking enough water. Most of us don't connect hydration with inflammation, but proper hydration is like pouring water on a fire. Literally, up to 60% of our body is water. So it makes sense that without enough water, our system can't flush out the toxins and irritants that cause inflammation. In fact, a 2019 study published in JCI Insight found that poor hydration was linked to higher inflammatory markers and more disease in older adults, including greater risk of heart failure, dementia, and lung disease. Think about that. Something as basic as not drinking enough can make your inflammation worse and speed up diseases of aging. Why does this happen? When you're dehydrated, your blood becomes slightly thicker and your body produces more stress hormones like cortisol to conserve fluids. And cortisol can spur inflammation. Your cells also can't get rid of waste as efficiently, so inflammatory waste products linger longer, irritating tissues. Chronic dehydration is like allowing trash to pile up and smolder inside your body. Over time, that low-grade irritation contributes to joint pain, digestive issues, and fatigue. Ever notice how your joints feel stiffer in the morning? Overnight, you may be partially dehydrated, especially if you didn't drink enough the day before. The solution: make hydration a daily ritual, especially in the morning. When you wake up, you're naturally a bit dehydrated from hours of sleep. So start each day by drinking a glass of water, 8 pyre 16 ounces, before you reach for coffee or tea. This wakes up your metabolism and starts flushing out those inflammatory byproducts right away. Aim to drink water consistently throughout the day. How much? The National Academy of Medicine suggests about 13 cups of fluid per day for men and 9 cups for women. 1 cup is 8 ounces. That's roughly 3 liters for men and 2 liters for women, though individual needs vary. If that sounds like a lot, remember it includes all fluids and water-rich foods, so your herbal tea or the water in fruits, soups, etc. counts. The key is consistency. Sipping water often, not chugging a ton. A good tip is to carry a water bottle with you and set reminders, or use a marked bottle that shows times of day. You can also add a slice of lemon or a few pieces of fruit to your water if it makes it more enjoyable, as long as it helps you drink more. Many seniors actually lose some sense of thirst as they age, so don't rely solely on feeling thirsty to hydrate. Drink on a schedule if needed. Your joints, brain, and heart will thank you. You might be thinking, I'll have to use the bathroom more, and at first but your body will adjust, and the benefits are worth it. Within a week of staying well hydrated, many people report more supple joints and clearer thinking, as well as better skin. By flushing out pro-inflammatory toxins, you're essentially cooling your body's internal heat. Scientific bonus: hydration even affects your blood markers. One study found that people who maintained good hydration had significantly lower levels of C-reactive protein, CRP, a key marker of inflammation, compared to those who were dehydrated. Lower CRP means lower So, every time you drink a glass of water, imagine it extinguishing some of that cellular fire inside you. Transition to next habit. Now, drinking water is a great first step to cool the flames of inflammation, but water alone won't put out the whole fire. The next daily habit addresses a completely different fuel for inflammation, one you can't see, but you might feel it in your daily life. It's something that often sneaks up on us as we get older, and it can silently crank up inflammation if we don't control it. Let's talk about that next. 4. Daily de-stress ritual. Calm your mind. Calm your inflammation. Chronic stress is like gasoline on the fire of inflammation. If you're a senior dealing with worries, whether it's health issues, financial concerns, or even the stress of watching the nightly news, that stress could be silently triggering inflammation throughout your body. How? When you're stressed or anxious, your body releases cortisol and other stress hormones continuously. A little cortisol in the morning is normal. It helps wake you up. But constant high cortisol due to chronic stress is bad news. It signals your immune system to stay in a vigilant inflammatory state. In fact, a 2017 scientific review confirmed that excessive or prolonged stress literally activates inflammatory responses in the brain and body, making any existing diseases worse. Simply put, if you're stressed all the time, your body thinks it's under attack all the time, and it pumps out inflammatory chemicals as a defense. Ever notice how stress can lead to flare-ups of pain or conditions like arthritis or eczema? That's the inflammation fire raging higher. Many seniors also find that when they're worried or not sleeping well, often due to stress, their aches and pains get worse. It's not a coincidence. It's inflammaging at work. Stress and poor sleep form a vicious cycle with inflammation. Stress raises inflammation, and inflammation can in turn affect brain chemicals and disturb sleep or mood. But we can break that cycle with a daily habit of stress reduction. The solution: incorporate a daily de-stress ritual. Think of it as hitting the reset button on your mind and immune system every day. This doesn't need to be fancy or time-consuming. It can be as simple as 10 minutes of deep breathing or meditation each morning, or a calming walk in the evening, or even listening to soothing music. The key is to intentionally give your mind and body a chance to relax. Research shows that activities like meditation, gentle yoga, or breathing exercises can significantly lower cortisol levels and reduce inflammatory markers over time. Even a quiet hobby like gardening, knitting, or reading can serve as meditation if it fully engages you and calms your mind. Here's a simple breathing exercise to try daily. Sit comfortably, inhale slowly through your nose for a count of 4, hold for 4, then exhale through your mouth for a count of 6 or 8. Repeat this for a few minutes. This kind of breathing triggers your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode, which opposes the stress response and tells your body, it's okay, you can calm down now. Doing this each day trains your system to not overreact with inflammation at every little stress. Another powerful tool is mindfulness meditation. Studies have found that older adults who practiced mindfulness daily had lower levels of interleukin-6, an inflammatory cytokine, compared to those who didn't. But you don't have to know those details. All that matters is consistently finding your relaxation. Maybe you prefer prayer, or taking a slow evening stroll and focusing on the nature around you. Even spending time with a pet or calling a friend to chat and laugh can reduce stress. Laughter, by the way, releases endorphins that counteract stress hormones. It's literally internal jogging for your organs. Also, consider cutting down on stressful inputs, especially later in the day. For example, watching the news right before bed might wind you up. Instead, do something calming, light reading, gentle stretches, listening to an audiobook in the hour before sleep. Quality sleep itself is a huge inflammation fighter. When you reach deep sleep, your body naturally suppresses inflammatory processes and heals. So managing stress during the day and having a calming bedtime routine will help you sleep better, which further lowers inflammation. It's all connected. If you can, try to schedule at least one enjoyable or relaxing activity every day. Treat it like a prescription for your health. It could be a 15-minute morning meditation, or a fun hobby in the afternoon, or quiet reflection in the evening. Consistency is more important than duration. It's far better to do 10 minutes every day than an hour only once a week. Over time, you'll likely notice you feel less anxious. You might handle daily challenges more easily, and those inflammatory issues like joint flare-ups or blood pressure spikes may diminish. One landmark study even found that seniors who underwent an 8-week stress reduction program showed significant drops in CRP and other inflammatory markers compared to controls. So this is real, measurable change. Transition to next habit. Now that we've covered calming your mind, let's turn to something very concrete: what you're feeding your body, because you can do all the meditation in the world, but if you're eating foods that fuel inflammation, you'll still be fanning the flame. The next daily habit is all about using food as medicine to fight inflammation. And you'll want to hear what one nutritional scientist said: our best tool to reverse inflammation isn't a drug. Can you guess the rest? Let's get into 3. Anti-inflammatory eating. Food or fuel for the fire. You've probably heard the saying, you are what you eat. When it comes to inflammation, that's absolutely. The foods you put into your body every day can either fuel the fire of inflammation or help extinguish it. Unfortunately, the typical Western diet, full of processed snacks, sugary treats, refined grains, and unhealthy fats, tends to pour gasoline on that fire. On the other hand, a whole food, nutrient-rich diet can be like a fire extinguisher for your cells. Here's a powerful quote from Dr. Barry Sears, PhD, a former Boston University School of Medicine researcher and inflammation expert. Our best tool to reverse inflammation isn't a drug, but our diets. Think about that. Not a pill, but your plate is the best medicine. Why? Because every meal is an opportunity to either increase or decrease inflammation. Let's break it down simply. Pro-inflammatory foods are typically ones high in sugar, refined carbohydrates, processed meats, and artificial additives. These cause spikes in blood sugar and can trigger the release of inflammatory cytokines. They also often disrupt your gut microbiome, more on that in a second, which can further drive inflammation. On the flip side, anti-inflammatory foods are natural, nutrient-dense foods. Vegetables, fruits, lean proteins, fatty fish, nuts, seeds, and healthy fats, like olive oil. These foods are rich in antioxidants, vitamins, and omega-3 fatty acids that actively fight inflammation. What does an anti-inflammatory diet look like? It's very similar to the famed Mediterranean diet that you might have heard of, which studies have linked to lower inflammation and better aging. Imagine your plate. Half of it is colorful vegetables and fruits. A quarter is high-quality protein, fish, chicken, lean meat, or plant proteins, like beans if you prefer. And a quarter is whole grains or starchy veggies for carbs. Add a bit of healthy fat like olive oil or avocado, and flavor it with herbs and spices. Many, like turmeric and ginger, are anti-inflammatory too. Here are some top anti-inflammatory foods to include daily or weekly: berries, blueberries, strawberries, etc. Rich in flavonoids that reduce inflammation in the body. Fatty fish, salmon, sardines, mackerel, high in omega-3 fatty acids, which have been shown to lower inflammatory markers. Nuts and olive oil, walnuts, almonds, extra virgin olive oil, full of healthy fats and polyphenols. One study found olive oil's oleocanthal compound acts similar to ibuprofen in reducing inflammation. Colorful veggies, broccoli, bell peppers, carrots, tomatoes, beets, contain various anti-inflammatory compounds. E.g., tomatoes have lycopene, a powerful antioxidant for inflammation. Spices and herbs, turmeric with curcumin, ginger, garlic, all known to help lower inflammation. Turmeric, for instance, has been shown to improve arthritis symptoms in some studies. And just as important, try to cut back on the major pro-inflammatory culprits. And sugar and high fructose corn syrup. These cause blood sugar spikes and can increase inflammatory messengers. Processed meats, bacon, sausage, deli meats, contain preservatives and advanced glycation end products that promote inflammation. Trans fats, often found in margarine, shortening, and some fried or packaged goods. These are very inflammatory to blood vessels. Excess alcohol. Moderate wine might be okay for some, but too much alcohol is toxic and inflammatory to the liver and gut. Now, you don't have to be perfect. Think of it like this: add more of the good stuff, crowd out the bad. Start by adding an extra serving of veggies and fruits to your day, and try swapping refined grains for whole grains. Maybe trade that soda or sweet tea for water, or green tea. Green tea has anti-inflammatory catechins. If you have a sweet tooth, replace candies or cake with fruits or a small piece of dark chocolate. Dark chocolate in moderation has anti-inflammatory flavonols. Over time, your taste buds will adjust, and those processed foods will become less appealing as you feel better eating real food. Don't forget your gut health in this equation. Your gut is home to trillions of bacteria, your microbiome, and it plays a huge role in inflammation. A healthy microbiome, fed by fiber from veggies, fruits, and whole grains, and probiotic foods like yogurt or fermented foods, produces compounds that tell your immune system to calm down. An unhealthy microbiome, disrupted by too much sugar, processed food, or frequent antibiotics, can let harmful substances into your bloodstream that spark inflammation. So by eating a variety of fiber-rich plants, think eat the rainbow of different colored produce, you are literally cultivating good bacteria that help reduce inflammation. It's like tending a garden in your gut that keeps the weeds' inflammation at bay. One more tip: ensure you get enough protein, especially important as we age, to maintain muscle and control inflammation. Lean meats, fish, eggs, or plant-based proteins, legumes, tofu, etc. every day help repair tissues and keep your immune system strong. And include omega-3 fats regularly, from fish, flaxseed, chia seeds, or fish oil supplements if needed, because studies show omega-3s can directly reduce inflammatory proteins in the body. If you dislike fish, consider a quality fish oil capsule. Many doctors recommend it for heart and joint health in seniors, of course. Check with your doctor if you're on blood thinners. Sears, whom I quoted earlier, promotes a balanced eating approach, often called the zone diet, which balances protein, carbs, and fats to keep blood sugar stable and inflammation low. The specific plan is less important than the principle: balance in whole food. Avoid those big sugar spikes and crashes. For instance, instead of a sugary pastry alone for breakfast, which will spike and crash your blood sugar and ignite inflammation, have oatmeal with berries and nuts, fiber, antioxidant, healthy fat, or eggs with veggies, protein, phytonutrients. Those will keep your blood sugar steady and cells happy. If you implement even a couple of these dietary changes daily, you will likely feel the difference within weeks. Sears patients, after refining their diets, we're able to reduce chronic pain and even symptoms of diseases like arthritis and asthma. Less inflammation, less pain and more energy. You might notice your tummy is calmer, or your joints don't swell as much, or you're shedding a few extra pounds without trying so hard. Since inflammation and weight gain are linked, reducing inflammation can help weight loss too. And remember, it's not about strict dieting or hunger, it's about nourishing your body so it can heal. Enjoy those delicious anti-inflammatory foods. Use herbs and spices to make them tasty. This is a positive lifestyle change, not a punish transition to next habit. By now, you've hydrated, de-stressed, and cleaned up your diet. These form a strong foundation for an anti-inflammatory life. But there's an advanced strategy that can turbocharge your results, and it has to do with not eating, at least for part of the day. Sounds odd, right? This next habit flips the script. Instead of what you eat, it's about when you eat, or don't eat. It might be a bit challenging at first, but scientists are raving about its benefits for seniors, including stimulating your body's own youth enzyme. Before we reveal the Zon 1 habit, let's explore this powerful strategy. But quickly, before we continue with the top 2 inflammation reversing habits, if you're finding this video useful so far, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. We post daily health tips for seniors, and you don't want to miss the next one. Also, if you know someone who's struggling with fatigue or pain, share this video with them. It might help them feel young again. Thank you for your support. Intermittent fasting. Activate your body's anti-aging mode. What if I told you that sometimes not eating can heal you? It sounds counterintuitive, but intermittent fasting, has emerged as one of the most promising anti-inflammation, anti-aging habits you can adopt, and it can be tailored to your comfort. Intermittent fasting just means structuring your day so you have a longer break from eating, allowing your body to catch up on repair work. When you constantly graze on food from morning until late night, your body is so busy digesting that it has little time to do maintenance. By fasting, you give it that time. Here's what happens during a fast. Levels of insulin, the hormone that stores fat, drop, and your body switches to burning fat for energy. In doing so, it produces ketones and activates certain genes that promote cellular cleanup and repair. One process, called autophagy, literally means self-eating. Your cells start gobbling up old debris, damaged proteins, and waste, kind of like Pac-Man eating the dots. This cleanup includes removing sources of inflammation. Fasting also triggers a reduction in inflammatory proteins and an increase in anti-aging hormones like growth hormone. A 2012 study found that intermittent fasting reduced pro-inflammatory molecules in the body, improving heart and brain health and even reducing risks of diabetes and cancer. It's as if the body says, "All right, no food coming in, time to take out the trash and do repairs." One of the world's leading immune aging researchers, Professor Janet Lord, whom we mentioned earlier, is a huge proponent of fasting. She's in her 60s, 70s, and has been doing a form of fasting for over 30 years. She even got her husband on board and swears they'd never go back because of how energized and healthy they feel. Lord explains that fasting, whether it's a full day occasionally or a daily eating window, drops inflammation down and turns on lots of anti-aging processes. In her case, she does a 24-hour fast once a week. She has dinner Sunday, then doesn't eat until breakfast Tuesday, basically skipping eating on Monday. That's a bit extreme for most of us, and she admits it took time to work up to it. But she also notes that even a shorter fasting period like 18 hours, say finish dinner at 6 p.m., then eat at noon next day, can stimulate many of the same benefits. Now, you do not have to start with a long fast. If you've never tried intermittent fasting, begin gently. For example, use the 12-12 method. Fast for 12 hours. Eat all your meals in the other 12 hours. For many, this might just mean no late-night snack after dinner and waiting to have breakfast 12 hours after your last meal. Once that feels easy, you can experiment with extending to a 14 or 16-hour fast overnight, which would make your eating window 10 or 8 hours long. A common approach is the 16-8 schedule. For instance, eat from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., then fast from 6 p.m. until 10 a.m. next day. During the fasting period, you can and should drink water. Remember habits in 5, and you can also have plain tea or black coffee. The first week or two, you might feel hunger as your body adapts, but many are amazed that after that, their hunger hormones adjust, and they actually feel more alert and energetic in the morning. This is because fasting triggers a mild stress that releases adrenaline and cortisol in a good way to keep you alert. As Dr. Lord says, she actually feels wired and really alive on her fasting days. It's like your body tapping into a primal efficiency mode. What's truly encouraging is how fasting specifically benefits older adults. As we age, our cells accumulate a lot of junk, misfolded proteins, damaged cell parts, etc., that contribute to inflammation and aging. Fasting is the cleanup crew for this junk. Think of it as your body's way of taking out the garbage and even recycling parts for new use. This not only reduces inflammation, but also can improve your metabolism and even brain. Some studies suggest intermittent fasting can boost cognitive function and memory, likely due to increased BDNF, a brain growth factor. Now, a few precautions. If you have certain medical conditions like diabetes or you're on medications especially for blood sugar or blood pressure, you should consult your doctor before trying fasting, because it can affect those levels. Also, fasting doesn't mean undernutrition. When you do eat, still get your needed calories and nutrients for the day, just in a smaller time window. And fasting is not an excuse to eat junk during eating periods. You'll get the best results if you also eat the anti-inflammatory foods we discussed. Many people ask, won't I lose muscle or feel tired if I skip meals? In a properly done intermittent fast, and with adequate protein and nutrition when you eat, muscle loss is minimal. Some research even shows improved muscle repair due to growth hormone spikes. As for energy, after an initial adjustment, people often report higher energy and clearer mind. Remember, our ancestors didn't have food 24/7. Our bodies evolved to handle periods of fasting and actually perform optimally in that state. Think of a hunter needing to be sharp and energetic to find food, even if he hasn't eaten that day. If a daily fasting window isn't for you, another approach is the 5-2 method, where you eat normally 5 days a week, and on 2 non-consecutive days, you eat very lightly, like 500 calories. This can also trigger many of the same benefits. The key is to give your body that break from constant digestion. To inspire you, recall Carol's story from earlier. Part of her routine change was not eating after 7 p.m. and having a good 14-hour overnight. She said just doing that, in addition to eating healthier, made her feel noticeably more energetic in the mornings. And science backs this up. Even without changing what you eat, changing when you eat can reduce inflammation. One study noted that intermittent fasting led to lower levels of TNF-alpha and IL-6, two inflammatory chemicals in adults, after just a few months, and participants also lost weight and had improved insulin sensitivity. So intermittent fasting is like pushing a reset button inside you each day. By daily giving your body a rest from food, you activate ancient healing mechanisms. This habit can make all the difference in whether you feel sluggish and inflamed, or light and rejuvenated. Transition to next habit. We've covered 4 powerful habits so far: hydration, stress reduction, anti-inflammatory diet, and smart fasting. Implementing even 1 or 2 of these can start the process of reversing inflammation. But now we've arrived at the #1 daily habit to feel younger. And it's the simplest, yet most powerful of all. It's something humans are literally born to do, and it yields incredible benefits for reducing inflammation. In fact, as we teased earlier, scientists found this habit alone could cut seniors' inflammation in half, or even eliminate it. The best part, you can start doing it today, right after this video. Ready to feel 20 years younger? Here we move your body daily. Walk away, inflammation, literally. Drumroll for the #1 habit, daily movement. Yes, exercise, as simple as a daily walk, is perhaps the most powerful anti-inflammatory youth-restoring activity you can do. We're not talking about running marathons or hitting the gym for 2 hours, though if you love that, more power to you. We mean consistent, moderate physical activity that gets your blood flowing every single day. It could be a brisk walk, dancing in your living room, biking, swimming, or even gardening, anything that keeps you moving. You've heard exercise is good for you a million times, but let's focus on why it's a game changer for inflammation and aging. Regular movement helps regulate your immune system and metabolic health. When you exercise, your muscles release substances called myokines that actually help reduce inflammation. Exercise also lowers visceral fat, the dangerous fat around your organs that pumps out inflammatory signals. Moreover, being active improves circulation, so your body can efficiently deliver nutrients and remove waste, like clearing out the smoke from a fireplace. This all adds up to a lower inflammatory state. How effective is it? Let's talk data. A study at the University of California found that even 20 minutes of brisk walking can begin to lower inflammatory markers in the blood. That's right, just 20 minutes. Now imagine doing that most days. The effect Another study out of Harvard observed that seniors who stayed physically active had much lower levels of C-reactive protein inflammation marker than sedentary ones, even when controlling for age. And recall the incredible finding we mentioned earlier from Dr. Janet Lord's research. In a group of 200 older adults, those averaging about 7,000 steps a day had roughly 50% less inflammaging than those who were sedentary, and those who reached 10,000 steps a day showed no sign of chronic inflammation at all. Essentially, their immune profiles looked like those of much younger people just by walking. That's a jaw-dropping statistic. Exercise can potentially roll back your inflammatory age by decades. You might be thinking 10,000 steps sounds like a lot. I can't do that right now. That's okay. The beauty of this is any increase helps. If you're currently doing maybe 2,000 steps, which is common if you don't deliberately walk a lot, going to 4,000 or 5,000 can make a huge. In fact, going from very low activity to moderate activity likely gives the biggest jump in benefits. Start where you are. If walking is hard due to joint pain, start with just 5-10 minutes at a gentle pace, maybe 2 or 3 times a day. Movement in water, like in a pool, can be great if you have access, because it's easier on the joints. Or try chair exercises, moving your arms and legs while seated. If mobility is very limited, the key is to avoid long stretches of being completely sedentary, even standing up and marching in place during TV commercial breaks, or doing some light stretches every hour, breaks the sedentary pattern. Goal: work up to at least 30 minutes of moderate activity a day, 5 days a week. That's the general health guideline. But if you can do something daily, even better. Humans were designed to move daily. Moderate means your heart rate goes up a bit. Maybe you breathe a little faster, but you can still talk. A brisk walk, if you prefer shorter bursts, you can do 10 minutes 3 times a day. It adds up. Maybe a morning walk around the block. A midday stroll after lunch, also great for blood sugar control, and some light activity in the evening. If you're already fairly active, consider adding some strength training 2 to 3 times a week, like light weights or resistance bands. Building muscle can further reduce inflammation and helps maintain your independence as you age. Let me emphasize how quickly this can pay off. Many people report that after just 2 weeks of daily gentle exercise, they sleep better and have less joint stiffness. One 66-year-old gentleman I know started with just walking to his mailbox and back, increasing a bit each day. A month later he was walking 2 miles every morning, and said his chronic back pain was noticeably less. His doctor reduced his anti-inflammatory medication dosage, because his markers improved. I feel younger and happier, he said, like my body woke up again. Exercise also has a wonderful side effect. It boosts your mood and energy, thanks to endorphins and better circulation. So you get immediate feel-good feedback, which makes you want to continue. It can truly make you feel like a younger version of yourself. Remember how as a kid you just run around or ride your bike and feel alive? We're recapturing a piece. Now, if you haven't exercised in a long time or have health concerns, do consult with your doctor for personalized advice. But most doctors will be overjoyed to hear you want to move more. Start slow and listen to your body. Some muscle soreness at first is okay. Joint pain is not. Choose activities you enjoy. Dance to your favorite music. Walk in a pleasant park or mall somewhere safe. Join a senior exercise class or walking group for social fun. Consistency beats intensity. It's far better to walk 15 minutes every day than to do an hour once a week and be sore or. For motivation, use a simple step counter or fitness tracker if you have one. Many smartphones do this too. It can be encouraging to see your steps add up. You could set a personal goal like I'll add 500 extra steps each week until you reach your target, and celebrate milestones. When you consistently hit, say 5,000 steps daily for a while, treat yourself, maybe to a new pair of walking shoes or a relaxing massage. Physically active seniors often end up with what I call a youthful aura. They move easier, stand taller, often look happy. It's not imagination. They have lower inflammation inside, so their bodies function more youthfully. There's a saying, motion is lotion. By moving daily, you're literally lubricating your joints, improving blood flow and lotioning your body from the inside out. Let's not forget, exercise also strengthens your heart, lungs and muscles, which prevents a cascade of age-related issues. It reduces risk of chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, even some cancers, many of which are tied to inflammation. So you're attacking the problem on multiple fronts with one habit. Truly, if there's a miracle drug for healthy aging, consistent exercise is it. And it's, to sum up habit 1, move it or lose it. By moving your body every day, you're telling your genes, I'm still young and active, so keep things tuned up. You'll be reducing inflammation dramatically, as shown by that research where older adults who stayed active had inflammation markers as low as people decades younger. This habit, more than any other, will make you feel 20 years younger in your daily life, whether it's climbing stairs with ease, keeping up with the grandkids, or just waking up feeling refreshed instead of sore. Putting it all together, a younger you awaits hopeful ending. We've now covered 5 daily habits that work synergistically to reverse chronic inflammation and help you reclaim youthful vitality. Just to recap them briefly. People, hydrate. Start your day with water and keep hydrated to flush out inflammatory toxins. De-stress daily. Use relaxation techniques, breathing, meditation, enjoyable activities to lower stress hormones and inflammation. Anti-inflammatory diet. Eat whole, colorful foods and healthy fats to fuel your body with anti-inflammatory nutrients. And avoid the processed stuff that causes inflammation. Intermittent fasting. Give your body regular breaks from eating so it can activate repair mode and clean out inflammatory damage. Daily movement. Stay active in whatever ways you can to cut inflammation in half or more and strengthen your body from the inside out. These habits aren't quick fixes, they're lifestyle changes, but that's exactly why they work. By consistently doing them, you send a powerful message to your body: heal, regenerate, and thrive. You're treating the root cause, inflammation, rather than just the symptoms. And science has shown that, when done together, these lifestyle changes can dramatically improve quality of life for seniors. In fact, the team at GlycanAge, a company that measures biological age, concluded that the extent of chronic inflammation in your system is directly linked to lifestyle choices. And by improving those choices, you can reverse inflammation and reduce your biological age over time. How empowering is that? Your age in years might be 60 or 70, but your biological age, how old your cells act, could become much younger if you implement these changes. Aging does not have to mean constant decline. Much of it is within your control. Now, maybe you can't tackle all 5 habits at once, and that's perfectly okay. Start with 1 or 2 that seem most doable for you today. Perhaps begin with drinking more water and taking a 15-minute walk each day. Once those feel routine, add in another habit like improving your diet or trying a gentle fast. Small steps lead to big results when done consistently. Remember Carol, our 68-year-old friend. She didn't transform overnight. She built her new routine piece by piece, but once the ball got rolling, it was like a domino effect. More energy led her to move more, moving more improved her mood. Feeling better made it easier to eat healthier, and so on. Momentum will carry you forward. The most beautiful thing about these habits is that they not only fight inflammation, they also just make you feel good. After a few weeks, you'll likely start seeing subtle signs. Maybe you wake up a bit easier, or your knees don't protest as much when you climb stairs, or your mind feels sharper. Pay attention to those positive changes. They're your body's way of saying thank you, and those are the sparks of feeling younger. Hopeful perspective. It's never too late to rewrite your health story. Whether you're 60, 70, or beyond, your body has an incredible capacity to heal when given the chance. The human body is resilient. Even if you've had decades of not-so-great habits, starting now can halt a lot of damage and even reverse it. Think of your inflammation like a dimmer switch, not a permanent on-off. You can dial it down step by step. And as that inflammation dial turns down, life turns back on. You'll be able to do more of what you love, engage with the people you care about, and truly enjoy your golden years with vitality and purpose. So imagine yourself 8 weeks from now, after giving these habits a try. You might have lost a few pounds of bloat, your face might have a new glow, you might be smiling more because you're not in constant discomfort. Maybe you're taking walks in the park and admiring the flowers, or playing with your grandchildren without needing to sit down every few minutes. Maybe you've even impressed your doctor at your next checkup with improved numbers, blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol. They all tend to improve when inflammation goes down. That is the power of life. Research and real stories have shown us. Age-related inflammation is not inevitable. You can fight it, and you can win. Now I want to leave you with a positive challenge. Pick one of these 5 habits, and start it even if it's as simple as drinking a glass of water right now, or taking a 5-minute walk after this video. Do it. That's your first step to turning back the clock on inflammation. Then tell us in the comments which habit you're going to focus on first. Is it improving your diet, starting a walking routine, trying out a 12-hour overnight fast? Share your plan, writing it down makes it more real, and you might inspire someone else who's reading. Also, if you have any personal tips or things that worked for you to feel younger, please share that. This community thrives on us, supporting each other. Your story could be the one that motivates another person to take control of their health. In the end, remember that you deserve to feel good at any age. Don't buy into the idea that feeling awful is just part of getting old. As we've learned, much of that is inflammaging, and you now have the knowledge to fight it. You have more power over your health than you might think. Here's to reversing inflammation and gaining a more youthful you. Stay consistent, stay positive, and picture that future you, spry, sharp, and loving life. You've got this. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this valuable, give it a thumbs up, and consider subscribing for more senior health empowerment. And don't forget to comment below about which habit you're starting or any questions you have. I truly love reading your comments and helping out. Together, let's ignite a positive fire of health, healing, and hope, and snuff out that inflammation for good.